Which one of my twin daughters is actually mine? The realization hit me during bath time on a Thursday evening when both girls were splashing in the tub and I called out, "Lily, stop getting water on the floor," but neither of them responded. I tried again, louder this time, and both girls turned to look at me with identical blue eyes and identical confused expressions. My stomach twisted because I'd been so certain the one on the left was Lily, the one who always splashed too much, but now I couldn't remember why I thought that. They were 7 years old, and I'd been their mother their entire lives. Yet standing there with a towel in my hands, I realized I had no idea which twin was which. The thought was so absurd I almost laughed, but then I noticed the small birthmark I'd always used to tell them apart was on the right shoulder of both girls. That couldn't be right. I'd specifically remembered Lily had the mark and Nora didn't, but looking at them now, identical marks sat in identical places on identical shoulders. My hands started shaking as I wrapped them in towels and rushed them to bed without our usual storytime routine. That night, I went through every photo album we had, looking for evidence of which girl was which. In the hospital pictures from when they were born, both babies wore identical pink hats with no names written on them. The nurse had assured me they'd put different colored bracelets on them, but in the photos, both bracelets looked the same shade of pink. I found our first family photo where I was holding both babies, one in each arm, but the photographer hadn't labeled which side was which. Every early photo showed two identical infants in identical clothes doing identical things. I'd always dressed them the same because I thought it was cute, but now that choice felt like a catastrophic mistake. My husband Keith had left for a business trip that morning and wouldn't be back for 3 days, so I was alone with this growing panic that I'd somehow mixed up my own daughters. The rational part of my brain said this was impossible, that mothers know their children, that 7 years of daily contact would make them distinguishable. But the terrified part of my brain kept asking, which one did I give birth to first? Which one weighed more at birth? Which one had colic? I couldn't remember any of it clearly. The next morning at breakfast, I tried a different approach and asked each girl directly what her name was. The one sitting on the left said, Lily, without hesitation, while the one on the right said, Nora, with the same confidence. But something about their responses felt rehearsed, like they'd been expecting the question. I asked follow-up questions about their favorite colors and foods, writing down their answers to compare with what I remembered. Lily said purple and macaroni, which matched my memory perfectly. Nora said green and pizza, also matching perfectly. Everything they told me aligned with years of knowing them, but doubt had planted itself in my mind and was growing roots. What if they'd been switched as babies and I'd just been calling them by the wrong names all this time? What if the personalities I associated with each name were actually attached to the wrong child? I served them cereal with trembling hands while they chattered about their upcoming school field trip, completely unaware that their mother was having an existential crisis about their basic identities. After dropping them at school, I drove straight to Dr. Patricia Chen's office without an appointment and begged the receptionist to squeeze me in. Dr. Chen had been our pediatrician since the girls were born and had seen them at every checkup and sick visit for 7 years. If anyone could tell me which twin was which, it would be her. The receptionist said she only had a 15-minute slot